Brown.
Hi, my name is Scott Brown. I'm an attorney out of California. My daughter's back there. She goes to Mount Union. I was looking into the aspect of purchasing a house with 4 other families. So basically, you have 5 students live in the house, went through your ordinance, and then ended up with some issues regarding they're unrelated. Everything I read through your ordinance, and I want a codification of what your ordinance means, is if 5 families own a house and go in to buy a house, their owners and their children are living in the house. But evidently some of the neighbors don't like the idea because it's unrelated individuals. Your ordinance to me does not detail anything in regards to ownership of a house, just rental of a house. And in all honesty, looking at what your ordinance is, I think it's discriminatory for Fair Housing Act. I think it's discriminatory for young adults. In this case, 5 women. I think it's sexist along those lines too. And I'm trying to find out what is the purpose behind codification of this law? And the idea is if it's just to maintain a house, the idea is 5 families would own the house. In fact, we would give the girls an ownership interest in the house to teach them what about owning a house, how to take care of a house, what to pay for a mortgage, what's insurance, everything along those lines. So I'm trying to understand with the Alliance City Council, what is the codification? What is the basis of this rule, and how do you not say it's discriminatory for somebody to go buy a house? Along those lines, also in addition, I don't understand where it could be a codified rule, but it's enforced ad hoc. So basically, you can go around the campus of Alliance, and in fact, I drove down the street with some of these girls, and they said, volleyball house, softball house, basketball house, this house, SAE house. They're all non-Mount Union properties, and I'm not going Mount Union versus anything else, but they're all in violation of the rule. So is it just something that's going to be basically enforced if somebody's a squeaky wheel and wants to raise their voice and say, I don't like it? Nothing could be happening. I mean, it could be great people living in the house, but somebody just decides, I don't like students. I'm going to raise my voice. I don't understand how a law can be put in place that's either followed or not followed, or it's just decided arbitrarily. It's fine, I don't care. It's on that side of the street because those houses are in disrepair. This side of the street, the houses are in much better shape. We don't want those students in the houses. But right around the corner, it's Mount Union housing, and there's all students there. So what I ask is, realistically, what is the purpose of the law? Why was it codified? And does it apply to ownership? Because the way I interpret it, it does not apply to ownership at all. And how can you put a law in place, which I feel is discriminatory in many, many cases, and I think should be invalidated based on discriminatory nature?
Are you done?
I think I'm done.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming, Mr. Brown. Let me share with you, as I did at the very first part of the beginning, we have our Alliance Law Director in the room, Jen Arnold. And she's available for phone calls, for consultation, for discussion. But tonight we're not debating the legal aspects of the ordinance. It's been in place for many years, and
don't debate it, but tell me what the purpose behind it is.
To protect the housing stock of Alliance, to try to maintain the peace and sobriety of the neighborhoods. It's not discriminatory, nor is it sexist. However, you have to have some rules. And I can tell you that some of the people who were on council when the law was written are in the room. And I don't know if they are interested in speaking to it when it's their turn. But if not, it's not hard to understand who was on council at that time. And as a lawyer, you know how to reach out to people and have discussions with them. I would think it's a shame that you waited to tonight to bring up your issues. You have a good question about it.
It just got brought up to me. I was in the process of closing on a house, and it got brought up to me about a week and a half ago.
I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, so you have me at a disadvantage. But my lawyer's right back here, and I know that she's very friendly. She's a nice lady. She'll talk to you until you either can arrive at agreement or arrive at impasse. Mr. Klein.
One of the purposes of this ordinance is Alliance basically has 47% rental properties, and most communities our size have have less than 35%. And one of the purposes of this ordinance is to encourage family-owned properties. Because if a family owns it, more than likely, they will take much better care of it than a rental property. I've been a renter. I mean, I've had properties that I rented, and I understand the ordinance, and I think the ordinance might need some twitching here or there, but I'll have to say that I agree with the zoning department, which has denied so far, and I hope they continue, to deny and go along with our ordinance that no more than 2 people unrelated per household.
Based on rental. Based on rental.
Right.
Okay.
I'm confused where you come up with this being sexist.
I think it's discriminatory against these women and other either groups of women or men of an age of 18 to 20 looking for housing in the Alliance area.
But if it's groups of women or men, how is that
It's
sexist?
it's both because a lot of them are teams that go on together, so you're going to discriminate against either the men or you discriminate the women if they're looking to basically rent a house for 4 or 5 people, which is going on. I mean, we all know. I mean, we can turn a blind eye to it, but you can go down any street in Alliance around Mount Union and you can find the houses immediately.
I am well aware. I
Yeah,
went
you-
to Mount Union
yeah.
and I graduated a year and a half ago. But to say that we're being sexist is completely unfair. I don't care if that house has 3 women and 2 men in it. If it's more than 2 unrelated people, it's in violation of our code. And I think you should probably take that up with the realtor that was prepared to sell you that house in ignorance of our ordinance, because that's a bigger issue. That realtor had an obligation to inform you of our ordinance.
Thank you.